All right, well, thank you very much, Chairman Blumenthal, and thank you also, Senator Blackburn, for holding this important hearing. I appreciate it. I was listening in, Ms. Murray, as you talked about the fake masks, and 3M is, of course, a Minnesota company, so it even hits harder home that someone was ripping off their masks and distributing them to our frontline workers. Also, last week, our Attorney General of Minnesota, Keith Ellison, filed a lawsuit in state court against two COVID testing companies for falsifying test results. And I think going after these cases is really, really important. One thing that I wanted to mention was just the work that we can do federally. I have proposed legislation with Senator Grassley that would change the way the merger fees are done so that we could get more money into the FTC as well as to the Department of Justice to help them with their annual budgets. Mr. Levine, what would the effect be of tripling actually the FTC's budget, which is part of another bill that I've introduced, have on the agency's ability to better protect consumers? And by the way, there's ways we can do this, as Senator Grassley and I pointed out, from our merger fee bill without putting it on the back of taxpayers. And I think there's also an argument that the cases, because there's so much rampant scams going on, actually bring in money for the government if done right, but not if they don't have the funding to start the cases to begin with. Mr. Levine, do you want to answer that?
Certainly, Senator, and thank you for the question. In short, the effect would be transformative. I mean, a striking fact about FTC funding, we actually have a smaller headcount today than we did in 1980 when the economy was far smaller. With more resources, we could bring more cases and return more money to more consumers. In the 5 years before the Supreme Court took away our strongest authority, Section 13B, we returned more than $11 billion to consumers, far more than we received in federal funding. Investing in the FTC is a good investment.
Exactly. You bring in money. And Ms. Murray, you also highlighted the chronically underfunded agency. How will more funding directly benefit customers from your perspective?
To the extent that the federal agencies have more resources, they can improve their technology, they can improve their staffing, they can improve their training. All of those are needed to help consumers because consumers can't do it alone.
Right. Another thing, social media platforms, as you all know, are designed to amplify content. And sadly, if not monitored, it actually makes it easier for scammers to spread content that's false. And Mr. Levine, in your testimony, you note how since 2017, reports of scams starting on social media have increased 19-fold. Can you tell us about some of the most prevalent scams? And then maybe Ms. Engel, could you also touch on this, what you think should happen? Mr. Levine.
Absolutely, Senator. The numbers are quite striking. Not only a 17-fold increase in the volume of losses on social media, a 19-fold increase in the number of people reporting losses, 95,000 complaints last year, $770 million in losses reported last year, and we know that's the tip of the iceberg. We're seeing particular rise in investment scams, romance scams, online shoppings, and other frauds. And simply put, Senator, online platforms are not doing enough to police this problem.
Yep, very good. Ms. Engel, would you like to add what the platform should be doing to make sure these scams aren't put forward in the first place?
In addition to being vigilant, I mean, one of the things that we would like them to do is to partner with us so that when we see misleading ads on their platforms and the advertiser doesn't comply with our decision, we could refer them to the platforms. Facebook actually has already agreed to do that. And so when we refer matters to them, the misleading ads violate their terms of service and they promptly take them down. And we would like to have that same partnership with the other platforms as well.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, very good. I think there's also some other proposals out there, I think that would be very helpful on everything from algorithms to assessing financial fees, taxes on this, to changes to immunity for misrepresentation. It's one thing if someone puts a false comment on, it's another when a platform actually amplifies the misinformation and is making money off of it. To me, that's the distinguishing factor. If you're going to look at immunity issues, or you're going to look at taxation, or you're going to look at anything to try to get a handle on this, because there's got to be more incentives for good behavior and disincentives in place than we see right now. So thank you very much.